Hey everyone, my name is Dr. Jocelyn Conley, pelvic floor physical therapist, and in this video I'm going to show you 2 drills to improve your connection to your serratus anterior muscle. The serratus anterior muscle is a muscle that is on the inside of your shoulder blade or wing bone, and it connects to the sides of your ribs. Kind of like the fibers are like fingers that align the side of your ribs here. And this muscle is a core muscle that is absolutely integral for shoulder and neck health. Even though it is on the back part of your body or closer to your back, it is something that is just part of the shoulder girdle and the rib cage. What you'll need is just space on the floor or on a surface, and that's it. Your positioning for the first drill is quadruped or hands and knees position, and ideally you're aligned so that your wrists are directly underneath your shoulders. If your wrist flexors are too stiff and your elbows are bent, or you have joint issues in your wrist, you may want to use yoga blocks and put your hands on the side of the yoga blocks. You can also put a towel roll underneath your hands to just decrease how much extension is going through your wrist. So wrist position, hand position directly underneath your shoulders versus being forward like this. Knees are underneath your hips, toes are tucked. I know that seems like a minute detail, but that just helps connect the deep and the outer core a little with less, thoughts about it. Now, spine is in neutral position. I don't want to be too here, but I don't want to be here either. I want to find that space or that midpoint, which for me is about right here. Then, for your upper portion of your body, notice nothing happened. When I dipped down in my shoulders, nothing happened here, so make sure that happens for you as well. All right, back to the shoulder positioning. So this is me dumping in my shoulders. This is me rounding too much, not too much, but this isn't where I want you in the exercise. This is me rounding through my thoracic spine. And here I am kind of like doing this, but up here to find my midpoint in my thoracic spine. So for me, it's about here. And then elbow position. So I don't want my elbows facing this way and that way for my other side, because that means my shoulder is this portion of my shoulder is in internal rotation. We want either neutral or slight external rotation. So if you could see, I am rotating my arms here, and this is my end range. This is about midpoint. Midpoint for me is so that my elbow crease is facing towards the front. So give that a try before moving on. You want to find that midpoint of your humerus or upper arm in the cup. Now from there, back to neutral, we are pressing away. So we could start from being lower, then we're pressing away from the floor, not with our hands, but with our shoulder blades. And as I am pressing, my elbows and my upper arms maintain that starting position. So pressing away, getting long through my upper back, but not rounding. And then I'm controlling the motion down. So I'm pressing away, and then I'm controlling down. I'm not pulling down, I'm just slowing the motion down with the same muscles. I press away, and then I control down. This one tip is it's to connect with your serratus more easily. You exhale as you press, inhale as you come down, all the while making sure there's no motion here. Another tip is once you get the press away motion, focusing on spreading your fingers wide into the floor and also pressing your fingers into the floor as well. So what I typically have is people accumulate time practicing this position. You can hold the top to just get a sense of what that feels like. I want you to aim to feel this in like your armpit region, like deep here, not in your lats, but like right here. One tip to make sure you're not using your pec muscles is as you're pressing away, put your hands right here, and you shouldn't feel this get hard. So connect with your pecs, and I have such a hard time connecting with my pecs. I could feel whenever I'm pressing with them. They come into my hands here versus here, pressing with my serratus, they remain soft. As you're learning, you might get a little bit of pec action. That's okay, as long as it's not dominant. And then other tips is just to keep your head and your shoulder and everywhere else, or head and neck, and then everywhere else in the same position. So accumulate time. Let's aim for 90 seconds. You can go straight through, or you could do it for reps. So anywhere from like 15 to 30 reps. 1 to 3 rounds. I usually will specify this in our session. The second drill is the same thing, but now, same setup, my arms go forward here. Head and neck come into neutral position, and now I'm pressing in the line of where my arm is. So I'm not pressing straight up, straight down. I'm not shrugging. I'm pressing through the floor with my shoulder blades, and because the position of my arms, it's more like up and forward at a diagonal. And then I control down, and I press, and I control down. Let's see if I can get the camera to show you what this looks like. Now on me, notice that there's no rotation happening here. You want to make sure that this isn't like pulled forward too much, or this part of your arm isn't accentuated because of using your deltoid too much or your pecs or lats. If you're doing it correctly, it all just seems to move uniformly. And where I see people have most difficulty is the controlling action. It's either like light switch on, light switch off, versus this controlled motion. This is harder than what I'm making it seem. Like I'm shaking because these are just, those small postural muscles that get tired. But they don't, but they do, but they don't. They do if you don't use them. Now, how does this relate to more functional tasks? Well, when you're doing movements like downward dog, if you're not pressing with your serratus and you're using another strategy, you could be imposing some harmful forces through an area of the shoulder and the neck region, or known as the upper quarter. Another really key exercise is a plank, whether it's a forearm or a tall plank, and push-ups. And also pressing overhead. The serratus anterior muscle is the best muscle at orienting your shoulder blade to keep the cup of the shoulder joint open and free from pinching on other tissues. With the second variation, same idea, accumulating 90 seconds, 1 to 3 rounds, or doing 1 to 3 rounds of 15 to 30 reps, maybe less if you get really tired. If you have any questions, please comment below or reach out to me. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.